am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Silly Jedi! Silly Jedi!
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello there.
At last! Where have you been?
Nice of you guys to drop by.
Ah, good. New acquisitions.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hey everybody, welcome to Star Wars Car Talk. It's the podcast where Jedi Toy Masters sit in the car talking Star Wars. That's right. I'm Maurice from Jedi Toy Masters, and this is our podcast, Star Wars Car Talk. And we talk Star Wars. And we thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to us in podcast form, whether it's on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, wherever, we thank you. And we hope that if you enjoy my little talks here, that you can give us a nice review on iTunes and spread the word. It helps. It helps. That's all I know, that it helps. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. I hope you click the little like button just to kind of help us out as well, and maybe share this video if you know somebody else that's a Star Wars fan. But that's pretty much what I do here. I talk Star Wars. This is my therapy session as I drive home, or maybe I'm driving somewhere else, depending on where I'm going. I'm going somewhere, but I'm definitely talking Star Wars on the way. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and here we go. So this week, we missed, been going into the bi-weekly schedule with the podcast as of late, but we did miss last week. Hey, it's the end of the summer, Labor Day weekend, that whole jazz, and a lot has happened. I mean, we spoke about the in the last episode about the finale of the Bad Batch, the season finale, and where we're at with Star Wars. And oh my gosh, we got the Disney Gallery, which showed us how they brought Luke Skywalker back. It was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I'm so happy about that. I mean, if you haven't watched that, if you don't have Disney Plus, whether where you're from, you don't have Disney Plus or whatever, but man, if you can get to watch that episode, I don't know if there's bits of it on YouTube at this point, but man, what a great episode. Very cryptic, I gotta say, because there's a lot of stuff that was said in that episode. I think I talked about it during a live stream that I did on our Instagram page at Jedi Toy Masters, so check us out over there. But yeah, wow. I long story short, I think I feel more confident as a fan with where Star Wars is headed because of that Disney Gallery. And because of what was said, what Jon Favreau said, what Dave Filoni said, and a lot of what the people behind the scenes, kind of like where they were hinting at. And also, I think a lot of rumors that might have been blown out of proportion were because of a lot of the things that were said during this little episode of Disney Gallery. A quick example of that is, during the making, I guess they knew, I mean, it has to be true, but they knew that the ending of season 2 was going to be the return of Luke Skywalker. They knew that even before they started shooting season 2. They knew that was going to be the last episode, and they kind of insinuated that they knew that even during season 1, even during the making of season 1. So that's interesting to me. But the one thing that they did say is that it was not allowed. Nobody was allowed to say Luke Skywalker because it was such a well-kept secret that nobody was allowed to say Luke Skywalker. And that kind of when I heard that, I remembered a rumor that was floating around on the internet that a lot of people reported on. And that was that people at Lucasfilm, somebody at Lucasfilm was saying, oh yeah, Kathleen Kennedy says that it's nobody's allowed to say Luke Skywalker. And they were kind of insinuating that was because that's the reason why Luke was not used in the sequel trilogy. Now, I don't know how true or not that is, but I can kind of see how it could be taken out of context. And maybe they were really talking more about the fact that, Luke was going to return in the season 2 of The Mandalorian. Remember that season 1 of The Mandalorian came out during the time right before Rise of Skywalker hit theaters. So, you know, the Force healing power happened in season 1 during one of the episodes, during like the second or third episode, I think, and then like a week later, Rise of Skywalker came out, and we saw that Force ability in the Rise of Skywalker via Rey. So, it kind of goes to say, you know, I mean, one could assume that the whole "Don't say Luke Skywalker" all around the offices, that kind of thing happened because they were already planning on bringing Luke back for the finale of season 2. Now, again, they could be backtracking and trying to cover it up because the other thing that I got from this Disney Gallery episode is that they spoke highly of Kathleen Kennedy, which, you know, you should, because she's a great producer. She's been around for a long time. She's been part of a lot of great productions. Film greats like George Lucas himself and even Steven Spielberg, they trust her, they worked with her. But it's interesting that they mention her, but then that's it. There's after they kind of praise her a little bit, there's no talk of her at all after that. And she wasn't even part of the interviews. Like, they didn't even interview her. That kind of leads me to believe that they're just kind of trying to, you know, on the records, show that everything's fine, everything's great. But I think the rumor is that behind the scenes there's a little bit of a civil war at Lucasfilm, and that it's kind of like Team Kathleen Kennedy versus Team Favreau Filoni, and Team Favreau Filoni has won this civil war at Lucasfilm. I don't know how serious it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we as fans kind of take things a little bit more seriously because, like, we love Star Wars so much. It's like life or death, you know. But for these people, it's just kind of like, well, this is just their job, and, you know, this is what they do for a living, and, you know, ultimately they report to bosses and they report to shareholders and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, like, the idea of like, all right, you know, whatever, do whatever you want with Star Wars. It's like, I mean, I'm still getting paid. Like, this, I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, I think, behind the scenes. So anyway, all that to say was a lot of cool Star Wars stuff has come down the pike, and it's still more great Star Wars content is still on the way. And I'm like super excited about that. And even this week, even as early as this week, we got some more Star Wars news that's not so much about the movies and stuff like that or the TV shows, which it's good to take a little bit of break about that kind of stuff, because it's like, I feel like the fandom can be very volatile sometimes. And I could attest to that, because sometimes I can get really frustrated, especially with my opinions of the sequel trilogy. But really, we're Star Wars fans. And part of the reason we became Star Wars fans was because of the magic of the films and the magic of the story, but then also the magic of the toys. And we are Jedi Toy Masters. My boys and I, we love Star Wars, and we love Star Wars toys. I will tell you right off the bat, and I've said this many, many times, as far as the toys are concerned, I was never a Kenner Star Wars person. Not that because I didn't want to be, but because by the time I was old enough to really be able to have a chance at owning those toys, they were already gone from the toy stores. I missed the boat on that. But I was very big into G.I. Joe, so I'm very happy that, you know, G.I. Joe retro lines are, you know, kind of emerging now, and I've definitely been capitalizing on that, and my boys love G.I. Joe as well, and they've been introduced to the cartoon and all that. But for Star Wars toys, it really started, for me, it really started in the mid-90s with the Power of the Force 2 line, and then later on with Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones toy line and Revenge of the Sith, and then the Clone Wars, and then everything else after that, especially now with the Vintage Collection and Black Series. You know, that's kind of where we're at, and what our love is, you know, our love for it now. But we pick and choose, you know, what you like and what you want to collect and all that. I now recently have come to the realization that, you know, Empire has always been my favorite Star Wars film. And now that my collection is kind of growing, has grown a lot more, and we have a place now that we soon will have a studio to be able to display a lot of our stuff. I'm coming to the realization that eventually I'm going to have to really kind of sell off a lot of the stuff that I have that we're not going to keep. And, I'm thinking about like where is my collection going to lean towards? Well, right now, as far as like what we love, my boys love the Bad Batch and they love Clone Wars. So as far as the toys are concerned, like Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Mandalorian are like the three things that they love as far as toys. So those are the things that like I don't mind buying them and having them open up and play with. For me, like Empire Strikes Back has always been my favorite movie, and now that we've gotten plenty of like Empire Strikes Back vintage collection figures, like I really want to hone in on those figures and the ones that I'm missing from the vintage collection that are Empire related, and kind of focus in on those, and maybe either capture those figures on card and keep them on card, or open them up and make a nice Empire Strikes Back 3 3/4 inch display with the modern vintage collection figure. So that's kind of where I'm at. I didn't really want to get into the 6-inch figures because they're too big. There's too many, and I like the 3 3/4 inch because you can literally dedicate a shelf to them and have them displayed, and then go play with them with your sons every now and then, with your kids. But when you get into 6-inch, I like the 6-inch in that we've been kind of getting into Bad Batch and like Clone Wars, Clone Trooper figures, and Bad Batch figures, and Mandalorian figures in 6-inch, which that's been kind of fun for us to play with those guys because, it's all kind of like Wild West. They're all gunslinging soldier, fighters. You don't have to dedicate you don't have to try to recreate the movies with the 6-inch and buy all these other 6-inch figures from the movies. You can just kind of like have fun with all these figures from the TV shows and the animated shows and kind of create your own story. So that's been fun for us. But Hasbro just had a live stream, Hasbro Pulse, and not to be judgy, but these guys, man, these marketing guys that they get to do these live stream Zooms that they do now, man, they're just so weak, and I feel bad sometimes like saying anything or criticizing them because it's like these poor people, man, that this is their job. Their work at Hasbro, which is awesome, must be like really cool to work there. Although it's probably a lot of pressure too because of the way the toy market is right now, and they work really hard, man. They work with companies overseas to try to like create these figures and the molds and the accuracy and the colors and all this stuff in the packaging, and and it's you can't blame them for the fact that Hasbro doesn't make enough product or put out enough product, and you have to deal with all these store exclusives and pre-orders being sold out and stuff like that. Although they did in this recent live stream kind of like acknowledge that there is a problem, and because of that they're pushing certain lines a little later in the year so that they can have more inventory for the pre-orders to fulfill all those orders. So that at least they're kind of working on making it better, but it's still just kind of cringy sometimes watching these guys talking about because it's like obviously they're fans, but it's I don't know, it's weird. You see it for yourself. It's on YouTube, Hasbro Pulse, their YouTube channel. You can watch the whole live stream on there. But this is what they announced. Here you go, starting with this Target exclusive, and it's like I don't even know like what is the purpose of these figures, but I guess people like them and they buy them. But the prototype edition Stormtrooper. Now we had the prototype edition Darth Vader, we had the prototype edition Boba, I believe, and now these right here. I'll put them on the screen so you can see it. For those of you watching, it's these Stormtroopers, and they're all kind of like, oh man, what if like, you grabbed a bucket full of parts and they were all different colors, and you put them together. And the big thing is that now the weapons are colored, and I don't know what is the purpose of this. Like, is this just to buy, as a goof, just to display it? Like, who is really into these crazy rainbow colored prototype figures? Like, you're like creating intrigue for something that you're purposely creating. Now, if you're telling me we uncovered a box at Hasbro that has, and we have 1,000 prototype figures that were in a box, and we're going to sell them. And there's only 1,000 ever made, and we're going to sell these, and they're premium collectors figures. And then, okay, yeah, all right, wow. Like if you can afford it and you get one of these, and you can say that I have number 465 of the 1,000 that were created of these prototype figures, or maybe there's only 500 prototype, maybe there's only 100 prototype figures, and you are able to buy number 75 of the prototype figures that they found in the vault of Hasbro. Okay, great, that's awesome. That's something that's both collectible and unique and cool. But these are like purposely mass-produced figures meant to look like this, and they're calling them prototype figures. It just, I don't know what the point is. I don't know. Like, what kid is gonna see that and say, "Oh yeah, I want a crazy multicolored Stormtrooper that doesn't have any articulation"? I don't know why, when toys are so advanced nowadays, but only like an adult that remembers the vintage line of Kenner could really appreciate it. But like, why would you want it? I don't know. Moving on. They announced this 6-inch. Now this is a GameStop exclusive. The 6-inch Black Series Jet Trooper from Battlefront 2. So like, if you're not familiar with Battlefront 2, then I guess you're not really familiar with this figure, which is kind of like, okay, well then, but I'm a sucker for Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers, so this is a really cool looking figure, and it kind of has a little bit of like a Stormtrooper, Clone Trooper vibe to it. So I'm definitely going to try to pick this guy up. I'm a sucker for these. The only, like these days, as far as 6-inch figures, I'm a sucker for Stormtroopers or any type of variation of Stormtrooper and Clone Troopers. So this might be something that I'll be picking up. This looks really cool. I recently became like a member of like the GameStop. So you get like, when you're a member, you get like a $5 coupon every month. And I just found out recently that like, if you hit that sweet spot where you already got like if you got your $5 this month and then you didn't use it, and then you got your $5 from the previous month and you didn't use it before the first $5 one expires, I found out you could actually use both of them. So you can literally get $10 off an item. So that's really cool. I was able to do that recently on a vintage collection figure at my local GameStop, and so like definitely will want to pick that guy up. It looks really cool. The paint job on it is nice. All right, moving on. We have a Walmart exclusive, Carbonized Figures. I don't know if you're into those, but again, Carbonized Figures, I guess, are a thing. Although the one thing I will say is the paint job in some cases does look kind of cool, and the card back is extra thick. The cardstock that they use is extra thick. So I do have one figure that's carbonized. I think I have the Remnant Trooper carbonized, and it looks really cool. The card back and the figure itself. So if you want to just like have these card back unopened figures, these are the ones to get because they're nice. Again, they're sturdy. But the paint job is kind of cool on some of them. So you're getting the Armorer, you're getting the Flame Trooper from The Mandalorian Season 1, you're getting Moff Gideon, which again, Moff Gideon looks kind of cool with the paint. I gotta admit it does look cool, but if you have these figures already, it's like, what's the point? And then you're getting the Scarif Trooper, the Shore Trooper, which I'm a sucker for. That's like my favorite Stormtrooper. So, like I said, if you're gonna get these, get the ones that you want. Don't focus on like getting all of them. Get the ones that you want, and I'm gonna get that one because I really like that figure. Moving on, we got a 6-inch. Now the 6-inch Black Series. Now this is the credit collection, which I don't know why they do this, but at the same time, I have to admit they're kind of interesting because they're unique. And these are 6-inch figures on vintage card backs that are made to look like the way the figures looked in the end credits of The Mandalorian. So like in the concept art, the way they look in the concept art, they make it look like that, like the paint job. It's essentially the same 6-inch figure that's already out. They just give it a new paint job to make it look funky and all like whatever. So again, you're getting the Armorer, you're getting Moff Gideon, you're getting Greef Karga, and you're getting Quill and the Mandalorian. So I think the last ones we got, I think we had gotten Cara Dune, and I think the heavy duty Mandalorian. So now we basically have all the characters from season 1. So if season 1 is your jam of the Mandalorian and you want all these, now you can have all of them. So moving on, we have a Target exclusive. This thing, I don't understand why we're getting this figure, but here we are, Mandalorian and Grogu again, but this time it comes with that egg from the Ahsoka egg that the Jawas wanted in that episode of Mandalorian back in season 1. Although we didn't know his name was Grogu in season 1, but here we are, a toy where it says Grogu. We're already looking forward to season 3, and we're looking at season 1 toys. I don't understand this. This figure is unnecessary. It's like, why do you want the Mandalorian with mud? I mean, just go play with him outside, and you can get mud on your other Mandalorian figure. But if you don't have the Mandalorian and you love mud, then there you go. This is perfect. And that's a Target exclusive. Of course, it's an exclusive. And then, of course, they announced this thing called a Build-A-Pack, which is kind of a cool concept. I wish they did more of these. And these are a Build-A-Pack of Stormtroopers. So you get 4 Stormtroopers, and one of them has the shoulder pad, which is kind of like the leader of the pack. These are kind of Hasbro exclusives from Hasbro Pulse. Who knows what other Build-A-Packs they're going to do, but who knows what the price point will be. If I know the price point, I don't know if they said it, but I'll put it here. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a sucker again for Stormtroopers, so if the price is right on these, I might pick these up because it's Stormtroopers. And then, of course, we got the anniversary of Return of the Jedi coming up, so of course we got the Emperor Palpatine in a vintage card back. It's 3 3/4 inch. Looks really good. I gotta say, looks really good. I like it. I need this figure in my life. It doesn't say whether it's an exclusive, so is it going to be at Walmart and Target and GameStop and on Amazon? Who knows? Who knows where it'll be, because chances are you won't see it in a store, and by the time you get to the store, it'll be gone. So, but good luck guys, good hunting. So you got the Emperor, and it looks really cool. And then we take kind of like a step backwards, like they forgot about Lobot, and now they're going to offer Lobot from Empire Strikes Back. I mean, I'm not complaining, because like I said, I want to try to get as many vintage collection 3 3/4 inch Empire Strikes Back figures now. I'm backtracking. So this is cool that we get a chance to get Lobot. So I definitely need Lobot in my life. Lobot, you're the man. You're the man, Lobot. And then going back to Return of the Jedi, we got Bib Fortuna with its creepiness, which is funny. As a kid, I always thought Bib Fortuna was a girl, a woman, because of the I don't know, I just associated this with hair dreads or something, and then the nails. He had long nails. I don't know what he is, but he's Bib Fortuna, and R.I.P. Bib Fortuna, R.I.P. Whatever. Moving on, we have if you're into the sabers, if you're into collecting the Force FX sabers, which I wish I could collect them, but they're like a little too pricey for me. I mean, man, I can't really justify the prices that they ask for these things, but they're beautiful. And if you're a big fan of Rey, especially Rey Skywalker, then you get to have Rey Skywalker's lightsaber from the last 7 seconds of The Rise of Skywalker. This is an interesting looking saber, I gotta say, though, because it kind of looks like Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber, and it kind of looks like her staff I think it is her staff from The Force Awakens, that she kind of turned into a lightsaber. So that's kind of cool. Although if you're going to turn that staff into a lightsaber, why don't you just make it a double-bladed lightsaber? Give yourself that option. Give yourself options, And that's the lightsaber that she's going to go off on adventures on that we'll never see, because the movie ended right when she became Rey Skywalker. And then that's it. Like, the movie's done. The series is over. I don't know. One thing that Mark Hamill said during the Disney Gallery that I really thought was interesting is that he said that after Return of the Jedi, or during the making of Return of the Jedi, he mentioned to George Lucas, like, man, like, after this movie, like my character is done. Like, and he equated it to, imagine if we spent 3 movies getting to know James Bond and his origin, and then we end the series right when he becomes James Bond. And then we never get to see him go on like all these other adventures like Octopussy and From Russia with Love and Dr. No and all that stuff. Like we never get to see that because we just ended it on his origin story. And that's kind of what happened with Luke. We ended it on his origin story. And that's what made that season finale of The Mandalorian season 2 so beautiful and special, is that we got to see a portrait of Luke Skywalker during that time when he was going on those adventures that we never got to see. And I feel like the sequel trilogy did the same thing with Rey. We spent 3 movies not knowing who the heck she was or why we should care. And it's only at the end that we find out, oh, she's a Palpatine, but now she's chosen to be adopted by the Skywalkers. And now she's going to go off and be Rey Skywalker and fulfill the destiny of the title of the movie, The Rise of Skywalker. But then we never get to see her go on her Jedi adventures. And what does she do? Is she going to try to rebuild the Jedi Order? Is she going to, like, why would you do that? Why would you then spend another 3 movies introducing us to a character that then we're never going to see her adventures? Like, that's what... Anyway, moving on. And then they mentioned something like the Black Series Archive collection, which is like they bring back figures from the archives or whatever and re-release them. It's like, isn't that what they do anyway? All they do is re-release figures over and over again. Like, I don't... But anyway, they show Palpatine. They show Lando in the disguise from Jabba's palace. They show C-3PO. They show Dengar. So we'll see what's going to happen. And then they also show for the vintage line. They have Yoda. They have a 501st Clone Trooper. They got Mandalorian Death Watch Trooper or Death Watch guy. And then they have the Cantina band member, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, like which his name is what? What is his name? Fergrim Dan. I can't believe that's his name, but Cantina band player. It's like, instead of saying these pipeline figures, it's just make them. Don't tell us that you're like 3 years out. Just make the figures and put them out in the store shelves and make a lot of them and fill the stores with these figures. You know, even if half of them end up on clearance at some point or in the clearance bin because there's so many of them, at least you sold 50% of them at regular price. You're still making a profit. I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand this. So anyway, but just make all these figures. We're gonna buy them. We're gonna buy them. Make all these figures. You're never gonna lose money if you make figures that are from the original trilogy, and if you make figures that are from the Clone Wars and from the Mandalorian. I mean, I don't understand how they haven't made the Bad Batch figures in 3 3/4 inch. Like, they could have made those figures already. They could have made all the characters in 3 3/4 inch. They could have made the Marauder ship, the Bad Batch ship, as a vehicle that you can buy for 3 3/4 inch. That they would, those things would have been selling off, selling. But anyway, they could have re-released Clone Troopers. They could have re-released Captain. I mean, there's so many figures that they can re-release or create and put out there, and we would buy, and they just don't. They just sit on it. They sit on it and wait on it. And then, of course, they showed us what the Razor Crest box is going to look like when we finally do get it, those of us that ordered it. And then they said that there's going to be a delay, which was kind of lame, because they kind of blamed it on us. They kind of blamed us for the delay. They said, well, you guys ordered so many of these that it's going to have to get delayed until January instead of getting it in October. And it's just like, so it's our fault for all of us giving you our money so that you can go make this? How about you just apologize for the fact that, yeah, like, you know, there's delays all across in every industry right now. In any manufacturing industry, there's delays. Just say, sorry that there's these delays. We're really sorry. We'll make it up to you, like most businesses do. Like, if you order something and it doesn't come in on time, or it's just there's delays or whatever, a lot of times a company will say, we really apologize for this. We're going to upgrade it to express shipping, to make it up to you or whatever, or something, but no. Hasbro blames us for the fact that this is a successful Kickstarter. HasLab, whatever. Anyway, the box looks kind of cool. Of course, it's vintage looking. And, at least we can look at the box for the next 4 months before we get it. And then they announced that they're gonna have IG88 or IG11. I can't remember. But they're gonna have is it IG11? IG11 from Mandalorian in Vintage Collection. And then they mentioned Lando from Empire Strikes Back, which I think I might have seen him in the store the other day, and I should have picked him up. I can't believe I didn't pick him up from Empire Strikes Back. And then some Ewoks, and of course reminding us that there's Emperors coming in Vintage Collection. So a lot of really cool stuff. We might get the Princess Leia lightsaber from her training days. That's coming down the pike. We have the Power of the Force 2 the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm Power of the Force 2, and that's like the Princess Leia from the throne room scene in A New Hope. Like if I don't know if you want that figure. Reminding us that we're getting that Rogue One Blue Squadron. He's coming, which I'm excited for. Although I can't really afford this thing. It's a beautiful ship, but man, I wish I could get that figure. That ship. And yeah, that's where we're at, guys. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, and it's bittersweet because you get excited because you're like, wow, all this stuff is coming, but at the same time you're like, who knows if we'll see any of this stuff in the stores. It's like, it's anyone's bet. Although you can put your money on the fact that most of us will not see it in our stores. It'll be, you're gonna get the scalpers that are gonna camp out at Target and Walmart. They're gonna know the schedule of what truck is coming to bring those shipments to the stores, and they're gonna be there right when they get unpacked, and they're gonna be the first to swipe them all up, and then you're gonna see them all on eBay and Mercari, which really sucks. But anyway, guys, what do you think about these toys? What's your favorite? Anything that popped out at you that you're like, oh, I'm definitely getting that? Let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube and if you're listening to us, hit me up at Instagram at Jedi Toy Masters. You can also catch these episodes in full on video form as well on our Instagram account for this show, which is Star Wars Card Talk on Instagram. But Jedi Toy Masters is where we kind of hang out and we chit chat and we share what's going on. But if you like this video and you want to see more, you can check out our other videos on our YouTube channel. And we promise that we will be making more videos soon because we've been a little bit sidetracked with the summer and swimming in a pool and owning a house now, which is kind of overwhelming. But hey, the Force is with me and the Force will be with you. And as Obi-Wan would say, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.